Have you ever driven over a highway bridge and couldn't help but look below? Or stood on a shoreline's rocky ridge just to watch the water flow? And count yourself as one of the few with a different set of dreams, the kind that keeps you up at night, 'cause you can't wait to get to that stream. It's more than a river. It's more than the water flowing or where it's going. It's the grip on the paddle and the shit in the saddle, the V in the boulders and the lean in the shoulders. When you reach for the eddy, it doesn't get better than this. Yes, it's more, so much more than a river.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're doing live conversations with Cross Currents Leadership. We are live on Facebook, Substack, and YouTube for just 15 minutes. We're doing it every Sunday and Wednesday evening here over the winter. We're talking to leaders across paddle sports and outdoor recreation and getting you those golden nuggets, those little bits of information. They're going to help you level up your paddle sports leadership in 2026. Tonight, I am so lucky. I feel so privileged to be talking to my friend Risa Shimoda, the Executive Director of the River Management Society. Thank you, Risa, so much for making time for us. I know you're coming off travel, and I just appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Andrew. It's great to be here.
Guys, Risa is, in addition to her current role as Executive Director at River Management Society, she is a past Executive Director of American Whitewater. She was the co-founder of Outdoor Alliance. She serves on the board of ACA and the World River Center. She's a member of the International Whitewater Hall of Fame and a perennial leader and competitor in ICF freestyle kayaking. She just plays a huge role across our paddling community. But today we're here to talk specifically about water trails. And it's just, there's so much happening across the country on water trails and making rivers a recreation destination. I could not miss the opportunity to bring Risa in to talk about the work RMS is doing to try to bring those professionals together. Risa, can you tell us just a little bit about River Management Society and kind of walk us through how we got here to water trails?
Right. Thank you again, Andrea. It's great to be here, you guys and gals. River Management Society is a group that started in the 80s in primarily on public land, public rivers, BLM, Forest Service, Park Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, when our rivers were getting loved to death. They were dirty, they were crowded, they were kind of a mess, and some river rangers were asked to get together to come up with some protocols that could be used in permits and requirements, just how many people would fit on a campsite, packing out poop, and just using fire pans. All these protocols started with this one of the very first interagency collaborations among federal agencies. So that it was a great success that they came up with, because a lot of Grand Canyon, a lot of rivers look terrific. If you go there now, you wouldn't know that someone was camping there the night before. So fast forward many years, we developed as kind of a networking, peer sharing, learning organization. And at the beginning, for the first couple decades, it was federal land managers and river managers. As we grew, I think as the whole area of river management evolved, there were more state scenic river program managers, and then there were water trail managers, and there were watershed managers that had a water trail in them. So as awareness, and on where there was no federal land, there just grew an awareness of what river managers do over there for the BLM or Forest Service. And so what many of the hundreds of watershed managers do today is river management. Their title might be, who knows what their title is, but what they're doing, right. They're taking care, they're worried about, they're concerned or protecting the public or serving the public with safety, with education, with signage, with information about dams, information about why dams might not be great, doing sojourns, 50 miles or 100 miles or 20 miles as collectives to learn and share about the rivers. All of this together is kind of, it's like I guess a tapestry. It's sort of a mess, but it's sort of a tapestry of folks who are collectively working on rivers and kind of doing the same work together, whether they have a title, and a hat and a badge, or they're a volunteer, or they're a volunteer leader, or they're an occasional, I'll help at a cleanup. So what we do at River Management Society is try to address all of y'all, all the people who are doing anything like that, with tips to do professional work more effectively, more safely, and it functions still like it did in the 80s as a way for people to learn what other people do who are doing the same thing, but their job title might be different.
Well, and I know you kind of did a whole new resurgence of this. How do we bring everybody together a couple of years ago? And I was working on water trails in Georgia and got to be there in the room as the steering committee was pulling a lot of these latest initiatives forward. And it was just so exciting to see that, what we have previously thought of as federal positions, to your point, had evolved into in many places, state positions. But now you also have nonprofit groups and land trusts and river keepers and watershed organizations, and in some cases, grassroots volunteers that are trying to take care of their river, both from a water quality standpoint, a safety standpoint, a recreation standpoint. And depending on their funding, depending on their structure, they may have a different approach to it. But all these professionals were so fragmented as professionals that in a lot of cases, I think people felt like they were trying to reinvent the wheel. And RMS really has created a forum to bring all these folks together to get the best practices.
Yeah, and the intent to help people not have to feel like they are reinventing wheels, or they're doing that and realizing it later that they have done that, was evidenced a couple of years ago. It was post-COVID, but it was still when people were searching for content online, but when people were getting used to looking for content online in big groups. We had a couple of come learn about a water trail, and had 100 people show up. It was astounding, actually. It really surprised us. And what we did with that interest, it was from people who, like Nancy Stewart, the state of Minnesota has 4,500 miles of water trails, to, Joe Smith, who would like to develop a water trail in his county and doesn't know how. So it ran the gamut. But because of that interest, we did a survey among those who attended, what would you like to learn about water trails? We came up with a really great list, and those who are interested in helping us tell those stories. And as a result, since late last summer through this coming December, every other month, we are doing every month a roundtable. We do monthly river management roundtables, and every other one we're focusing on water trail specific topics or topics that came from that survey. So the upcoming ones, Andrew's going to show the list, but they are they include. Well, this was one that we did last month, and there's a recording. You can listen to it. You can watch the session. So
and you guys, I watched it. There were some really phenomenal, timely strategies that are working right now in terms of how to use social media to help your river program. I did a quick blog on it, so you could watch the webinar. The recording is there. You can get the quick tips from the blog. All those are linked in the show notes. So we want you to have access to those resources. But to Risa's point, they've got them scheduled through the rest of the year.
Yeah, so we're going to learn about the proliferation of dam removal, very ambitious aspiration by American Rivers, a couple of folks from American Rivers. And we're going to have May 12th is going to be the coolest ever. We're going to have the forefathers and those who are current involved in the Lehigh, saving the Ocoee, saving the Gauley River, starting releases on the Deerfield and the Pigeon, and talking about a diversion that's in the new Whitewater Park on the in Oklahoma called WOCA. So a lot of people who know a lot of information about why river is coming out of a dam, because it's all different reasons. Also, and then also the voluntary flow program in the state of Colorado on the Arkansas River. So all different reasons. So it's just helpful to know because it's different in different places. Then July 14th, talking to people who have to co-manage a river and the safety and the responsibility, like who do you call for 911? If they're Wisconsin or Illinois on the Fox River or on the Potomac River, where Maryland runs everything up to the high water mark in Virginia. So that's not intuitive. It's specific to those two states. How the state of Utah manages Labyrinth Canyon, which is in a BLM Wild and Scenic River Corridor. So how all those relationships work together. And then water trail accessibility is going to be a group on the Verde River who improved a really gnarly takeout. Not gnarly for some of us, impossible for those who have disabilities. And then in November, some of the long, complicated water trail networks, state of Minnesota, Washington Water Trails, maybe Northern Forest Canoe Trail too. We've invited them. So we get geographical differences and definitely perspectives from managers who manage rivers. It's all rivers, and but whose collective knowledge is really worth checking in. And all these are free. All of them are free.
Well, and then in addition, if you're thinking ahead, April of next year, you've got your symposium in Arkansas.
Yeah, so this is going to be pretty neat. I think whoever's here has heard of the Ozarks, and you may not know anything else, unless you've lived there or paddled there. And it's a beautiful area, and unless you are from there or happen to be in the, kind of Midwest, Southeast, you may not have experienced it. But the folks there in Northwest Arkansas and Eastern Oklahoma are going to be our hosts. So the Illinois River goes from Arkansas to Oklahoma. And I think that we'll do a call for papers in the spring, but I think that we're going to have a great deal of content, knowledgeable speakers about water trail systems, because there's so much interest. There's so many really, really big projects going on, just one of which is in the state of Arkansas. The Fish and Game folks have been assigned to the development of a wonderful water trail system. So they've had the luxury of kind of starting from scratch. So their system concepts and their strategy for accessibility, signage, all that kind of stuff will be really interesting to see. And we're excited about. We do these symposiums every other year, and we're proud to do this and hope that you'll consider joining us. Shameless plug.
No, it's going to be fabulous. And in addition to that, guys, I've also included in the show notes a link to their YouTube channel where they have training materials for river managers and folks that are doing these kinds of programs to protect these waterways that we love.
There's almost 300 YouTube videos. There's a whole bunch on many, many different topics. There's a little bias towards water trails, developing river access, and then also wild and scenic rivers, because that's where we do a lot of our stuff.
So, well, Risa, thank you for coming and introducing our audience to all the resources that you guys have compiled. It is such a rich trove of professional knowledge and resources that folks should take advantage of and not try to create things from scratch or feel all alone in the work that they're doing.
If you have a question about any river management topic like signage or something, your question has been asked before. So come take a look. You can look up, old videos or past videos. Please ask a question. Don't hesitate. Don't be a stranger. Ask a question if you have one. But thank you, Andrea, for the time.
Yep. All right, everybody. Join me in thanking Risa for her time. Next live conversation will be Sunday evening. We're going to have Patrick Higgins, who's joining us from Alaska, and is going to be talking about ACA's pack rafting program, which I know there's a lot of heart behind it, but maybe hasn't gotten as much press. So you can ask all your questions while Patrick is here with us. And I just want to thank everybody who's following Cross Currents Leadership on all channels. Some of you have figured out the special hack. If you sign up on our Substack, you get the email updates. That way you make sure never to miss the recording of your favorite speaker. But I also have special love in my heart for those of you who upgraded from the free subscription to support our work in the community. It makes all the difference, and definitely it helps us to help other paddlers along the way. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you Sunday.